Hi, I'm Dawn Van Dort. Thank you for joining me for this Treadmill Fusion workout. So whether you're a senior, an athlete, or someone that's just getting back into working out, I'm going to show you how you can use your treadmill and your tubing, not only just to break through the boredom of a treadmill workout, but to get a highly effective total body workout.
Okay, so let's get you started. So we have our tubing. I have tubing with handles on it. If all you have is bands or resistance bands, I can show you how we can make those work for pretty much all of the exercises. We have our treadmill set just right now to casual walking pace, just at a 2, and I'm going to put just a little bit of an incline on there. And we're going to go over all the details while we're warming up here. So the first thing is, don't do anything you don't feel comfortable doing. Work out at your pace. Feel free to set your incline and your pace as to where you feel comfortable in the workout. This is the first of many that I'm going to be doing, so we're going to keep this first one a little bit more basic. As we progress in this series, there'll be more and more different creative ideas that I'm going to show you, not only using tubing, but also free weights or just body weight exercises. So the first thing we're going to do is just roll the shoulders out. And if you're somebody that does not like to let go of the treadmill, makes you a little scared, I want to try and teach you to just like start hovering your hand, or maybe just keep your hands right above just for a second, because the sooner you get used to letting go of the treadmill, the better your workouts are going to be. We're going to lean a little bit forward at the hip. We're going to keep those abs tight and always keep our shoulders down and relaxed while we're working out. We'll be doing 1-minute intervals, different arm patterns, and a little bit of lower body. And then we'll be getting off the treadmill, hooking up our tubing to the treadmill, and working through an upper body and a little bit of lower body on that circuit. So let's take some deep breaths in and out. And I'm just so excited for you to learn all the different things that we can do with this treadmill. It's infinite in the possibilities, how we can make this so much less boring than just getting on there and walking every day. I'm going to take my pace up just a little bit. So I'm increasing to about a 2.5, and I'm going to let go, and I'm just going to start pumping those arms. And again, if that's not cool for you, just keep doing what you're doing. And focusing on those deep breaths. Now let's add just a couple little punches just to warm up those shoulders. We will be working back, chest, biceps, triceps, shoulders, and lower body. And of course, the core works with everything, emphasizing core on a lot of our movements. And I won't bore you with all the details because I'll talk you through it as we go. You'll notice I don't play any music in my videos. I like you to be able to play whatever motivates you in your workout. And eventually I might add some to some of my workouts. Not sure yet. All right, in about 10 seconds, we're going to warm up your lower body a little bit more. Since walking doesn't really work a lot of your glutes, we're going to sure to fire that glutes, because that's really important. So I want you to take one foot to each side. If you're uncomfortable with doing that, you're going to be pausing your treadmill. Transitioning to a just basic squat, we're going to put the weight back in those heels. You're just going to dip back, bending those hips, keeping your chest up, holding on tight to that treadmill, either to the sides. I like to hold in the front. Helps to keep your chest lifted. We'll do this for that full minute. I started doing these workouts about a year ago because I just got really bored watching TV and walking on my treadmill. I found as I walked away from my workouts, I just felt like they were just okay. I was sweating, but I really didn't feel like I accomplished too much. And since I have limited time, I didn't really feel like I had time to add weight training or tubing training into my workout afterwards. So I'd call it good, and then we'd be done. So in 5 seconds, guys, we're going to go ahead and get back on that moving part of the treadmill again. So we're going to hold on tight to the sides, 1 foot at a time. Walk it in. And again, let's start moving those hands a little bit. Now we're just going to take those hands right at the shoulder level, and I want you to just start reaching one at a time. Option if you don't want to let go, let's just take one hand up. So you just start stretching out the sides a little bit. If you're watching this and you don't have a treadmill, you can still benefit from the tubing exercises. All you need is a doorway or something that you can attach your tubing to. If you just close your tubing inside of the door, it usually stays put, and you can go low, medium, or high with your level with that. And it easily attaches to pretty much anything you might have in your home workout studio. For today's purposes, we're just using the treadmill. In other videos, I will show you pretty much how to rig tubing to anything in your house. All right, that's our 1 minute mark. Let's go and take it back to that straddle position. Let's do some side leg lifts. We're gonna shift our weight to one side. Don't touch that moving part. Hold on, and let's lift with that outer thigh. We're pulling your tailbone under, drawing the navel to the base of the spine. You can point your toe. You can flex your foot. I tend to flex my foot because I don't want to touch that belt. If you point your toe might hit it. And again, if you get slightly nervous about that moving part, just pause. These will be 1 minute intervals. If you start doing this workout on your own, you can make your intervals whatever you want. You can walk or run for 2 minutes and then do these. Just trying to teach you some different stuff. This isn't just for walking. There's so much we can do. Good. You're going to feel that this base leg is working too. You get a nice little burn going there. That's why we want to keep those hips pulled under. Keep the weight on the heels. Get ready to step in 3, 2. Let's hold on. Come on in. Walk it in. Now we can just keep pumping those arms. We can do something more to bring that heart rate up here. So I'm just going to alternate my reaches straight up. Option. That's if I'm holding on. You can go as fast or as slow as you want with this. Think of taking something from the ceiling, grabbing it, and just pulling it down to your sides. Breathing in through your nose. And it's amazing how much this arm movement is going to bring your heart rate up. If your heart rate's not getting it to where you want it right now, either increase your speed or a little bit on that incline. Again, you can do whatever you want to do in these minute intervals. You can take that interval, bring it up to a big incline, and just walk a hill. Get ready to exit. 1 foot on each side. Let's do the other outer thigh for 1 minute. Here we go. Again, foot flexed, hips under, weights on that back heel, and we're lifting. Exhale. Try not to tilt your body. Sometimes when you're doing a side leg lift like this, you want to tilt that body out a little bit. So just keep everything relaxed through the neck and the shoulders. So in other words, we don't want to be like this. Shoulders are down away from the ears. Lift. I like to implement a lot of stuff from Pilates and bar into your body weight exercises because there's just so many. And you also improve your balance while you're doing this too. Though most of our serious balance work we'll be doing off the treadmill because I don't want you to risk actually falling onto that moving part. But if you've got that pause and you want to try and let go, go for it. Get ready to step back in. All right, this is our last 1 minute interval before we go onto the floor and we do our treadmill tubing. So in our following, let's just take those arms and we're just going to push them up and down. Both arms same time, reaching up. We can kind of make that like a jumpy jack a little bit. Get that squeeze up top. And again, modification, always just the one hand on and alternate the arms. And my goal is to get you hands-free. Biggest benefit to being hands-free on your treadmill, especially if you're walking on inclines, people don't realize that they lean backwards when they're walking on an incline. If you were walking on a real hill, you lean backwards, you're gonna fall down. So you wanna train to lean forward. It also gets more of your bigger muscles involved, gets your heart rate up higher, and you get a better workout. All right, we're gonna go ahead and straddle. And we're going to go ahead and pause our treadmill, and we're going to grab our tubing. Okay, so we're going to get set with the next part, which is our circuit with the tubing. So the first thing we do is put our tubing onto the treadmill. Now, usually it'll stay in place, but if for some reason it's sliding up and down, you can either take like a little those things you just stick on there with a little hook on it, that will help.
or I just have a little piece of alien tape on there so it just doesn't go past that point. But keeping the tension on that band will keep it from sliding. If you only have flat bands, you can do these exercises with the flat bands. You don't need the handles, but you will have to modify or tie it on for the single arm stuff. So here we go. We're going to start off with our back rows. Our hips are back, our abs are strong, and we're going to turn those hips just slightly under. The reason I want you in this position instead of like this is your lower back won't work like this. But if I bring my hips back and get that pelvis under, now my lower back is stabilizing this movement. So let's do 15 reps. We're breathing it out as we're pulling those arms back. We're keeping those shoulders low. By the way, don't trust me to count. I'm horrible at counting. I don't have any timers or counters for me, so I have to try and talk and count at the same time. So we might do an extra rep here or there. Let's keep going, exhaling as we pull back. We've got about 5 more of these to go. Breathing it out, feeling that nice strong upper back. And the further back you go, the more resistance is created. Now let's go and just take a little step in here, and we're going to turn around, and we're going to go right into your chest exercise. So we've got a chest press with the tubing. I'm going to step 1 foot back and 1 foot forward. This will be the easier of the 2 movements. I like to progress your movements. So if something feels too hard, you're at least starting with the easiest, safest way, and then I'll make it harder. So let's get those hands in front. You don't want your elbows back here. Get a nice strong core. Your core is working here. Shoulders are down. We're going to start by just taking one arm and pushing it out. Then we'll take the other hand and push it out. Let's look straight ahead as we continue to alternate those punches. When I go to both arms at the same time, both arms will always be more challenging. So you're welcome to come back just to these single ones. So I'm going to just do the first 5 alternating. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go to both arms pressing. Press and pull. Now if I want the maximum core in this, I'm going to take those feet together because now my core has to stabilize. Kind of the same type of muscles that you use doing a plank. So this is basically a standing plank. Watch your wrist position. Don't let those knuckles turn out. Punch those knuckles towards the wall. For 3 and 2 and 1. Slowly turn around, releasing. And let's add a little lower body into our tricep. Straight arm press back. And the closer I am, the easier. So do a little test. See how that feels. If even real close is too hard, switch your tubing. Always have at least a light and a medium so you can easily switch it out. Again, this is going to be your workout. Do what works for you, but you shouldn't be straining your neck. So this is a medium. So I find when I come past my hips, I've got those knuckles pointing to the floor. I don't want to drag my wrists. My weight is on my heels. My abs are tight. Now, let's go and bend those hips just a little bit and just squeeze. So I'm just starting with a small movement, just assuming somebody watching this might have bad knees. We want to make sure we're protecting the knees by keeping them right over where the ankles are. They're going to cross that ankle line a little bit. So again, I feel like, you know what? That's a little too easy. So I'm going to come down a little further and then add that press back. Off the heels, up through the glutes. Core is working right here. Everything's tightening up. And we're keeping the shoulders down, way away from those ears. Heart rate should be coming up, especially if you're doing the lower body. If you want to just do this part, you are welcome to do just this part. Let's keep that going. What if I want to speed it up a little bit? You can change your tempo. Get what you want out of this workout. Make it yours. Good. That's probably about 15. Excellent. So we're going to go over how to make it a single tube. Now, when I want to make it a single tube, I'm just going to slide one end through the other, and I'm going to pull it. Now, by doing that, I've just created one long piece, and I have a lot more things that I can do with this. So first thing I'm going to do is just called a little sword toss. The sword toss is going to work through my shoulders, a little bit of my obliques because I'm twisting, and it's going to finish with a little bit of tricep extension. So I start with my hand here like I've got that sword on my hip. My hips are under, and I'm going to take this to the shoulder, and I'm just going to follow through. Now I'm going to let my body rotate a little bit as I come back through, so I'm getting that twist. So again, if I want to make this a little harder, I'm going to move out just a little bit more. And usually you'll know it's too easy because this thing will be flopping around. You should be able to keep a little bit of tension on this band. I'm going to scoot up just a touch. progress. Now I feel that a little bit more. And if it starts to cause sharp pain in your shoulders, maybe take your hand and bring it more out to the side instead of up. And if that still hurts, just don't do it. Maybe you can do just this part of it. Good, let's keep that going. Grab that sword and lift. If you ever do this one kneeling, it gives you a little bit more effect in the core. So if you're on one knee or on both knees, try this exercise like that too. And you'll feel that really good. Definitely feel that shoulder burning. Let's keep it going up. And exhale. Just a couple more. Nice. And relax that. Now, we're going to work right into another double arm exercise. So I'm going to go and take this off. And we're going to make a double band, but I'm going to put this lower now. I'm trying to show you just a little bit of everything. In all these different series, I probably have 100 different workouts we're going to do here with this tubing. So I'm just picking the ones I think will be the easiest for you to remember and the easiest to modify. So let's get those arms out in front. Let's try those biceps. So one arm at a time, just like this. I find the band does not slide around at all. Even though I have an angled treadmill right here, it stays put. Again, just keep that tension on. If you don't keep the tension on, the tubing is going to move. And again, if you just have that flex band, it's going to work just fine. If you have that straight band for what we were just doing, you have to tie it around or find a way to hook it onto your treadmill. Now let's do both arms slowly. And I want you to pay attention to when you're releasing this, release slowly. You're going to feel some shaking there. So we just go curl and resist. Now I'm looking over my shoulder at you, mostly so I don't just feel like I'm sitting here talking to myself. Keeps me a little bit more engaged, but you're just going to look straight ahead. Okay, now we're on to the abdominal portion. So I'm going to go over two really highly beneficial exercises that we can do for your abs using your tubing. This one can be standing, or this one can be down on one knee, or even both knees. So if I'm doing a regular twist, we're going to be down on a knee. These are called wood chops. We're going to go from a low to a high position. So from down to up. So normally wood chops would be high to low. We're going down to up. It just works a different part of your core. Again, if you're not comfortable on your knees, you can do this standing. We'll show you how. Starting with both arms extended and straight, long neck. You're going to inhale, prepare, and exhale, and take that into a full rotation. Up and away. Let's keep this going. A lot of these exercises will really surprise you how much they're keeping your heart rate up. That's why you just want to keep going from one exercise to the next. And usually the way I stack your exercises, so one muscle gets to rest a little bit while one works. So keep going up. When we come back from our next 10-minute segment on the treadmill, that's when we'll come back and switch sides and do the same routine, but we'll just do the other side of your body. Exhale, twist. Don't forget, those arms are going to try and bend. So think of extending away from the body. You know, have a slight bend on this part so that shoulder stays relaxed. Let your head follow the movement. And this is where you're going to start to feel that front leg working a little bit too. Since we do a lot of the lower body stuff on the treadmill, I do a little bit more with your core and your upper body in the circuit portions. Twist it up. How about we just do a couple more of these? Very good. And we're going to slowly bring it up. Now the next one's actually a lower body exercise, but it's going to fire your core. We're not going to be moving your arm. Your arm is going to stay in this position. If you want to make this harder, go ahead and go to the two hands where you just take it around and hold on to both ends. That will give you more resistance. So what we're going to do is step into a lunge position, knees above the ankle, abs are in tight, and we're just going to step your feet together so you feel everything tighten. Then we're going to come back into that lunge again. So ready? Here we go. Hand is straight, shoulder is down, and we go lunge, lift. If that feels too easy, what do? We take a little step this way. If it is too hard, we back up towards that treadmill. Take a deep breath in. These will challenge your heart. Down and lift. Down, lift. Inhale down, exhale, pull. So far we've worked our chest, our back, our biceps, our triceps, our core, our legs, our lower back. We pretty much got them all in there. Our shoulders. You see, you don't need a whole bunch of exercises to get a total body workout. And it doesn't have to be super complicated to be effective. Good. I love this one for balance too. Excellent. And again, if you're not really into the lunge thing, you're right here. I always want to make sure that you've got that modification. Since I can't see you, I want to make sure if you're at home and you're like, I don't know if I should be doing this, my knee hurts. You follow the modifications. I'll always try and give them to you. Let's go ahead and stop right there. Now we're going to slowly release that tubing and we're going to take it off of our treadmill and we're going to hop back on the treadmill again. Okay, we're back on our treadmill. We just finished doing our circuit. We're going to do 10 more minutes on this treadmill. We're going to add some more exercises in while we're up here too. And then we're going to go ahead and turn around and do the other side. So we have one more circuit to go. Let's pick that speed that you feel comfortable at. This time we're going to add a little plie squat. I just hit the wrong button. That's too fast. Just showing my human side here. There we go. Excellent. So we're just walking on that treadmill, getting ready to start our second part. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes on the circuit. And again, if you are not comfortable letting go of the treadmill, what I'm going to recommend you do when we use the tubing on the treadmill is you're going to pause your treadmill, straddle it, and then just do the tubing exercises with your feet in that wide position. Otherwise, we're going to keep you moving while we use the tubing. Something I'll do a lot of in the different videos with the weights, and the loop bands, flex bands. So in about 20 seconds, we're going to go ahead and do our first tubing exercise. And this one's going to work your lats, so your upper back, a little bit of biceps helping, and of course, core is always working. So I want you to grab that tubing, and again, if you're not comfortable, I'm going to start, again, I always start with the safest way to do it. So if you're with me, you're afraid of falling, either pause the treadmill or bring that straddle. Now, I've got my tubing right here, so I'm going to grab the handles, and then I'm going to grab a length that I feel will be challenging, but not impossible. So I'm just going to hold it like this. So I've got the handles and they're not dangling around. And I'm going to do a little practice pull. And I'm just going to see how that feels. And I squeeze my shoulders into my spine, or is it making a lot of wobblies? So exhale on your pull, inhale on the way down. Now, if you're comfortable here, you're going to keep going. If you're walking on that treadmill, we're going to do the same thing, but we're just going to do it while we walk. Now, I feel like it's a little too easy, so I'm just going to walk my hands a little closer together. And now we're just going to pull that band down and into the body. And I'm going to look straight ahead on this one. I want to feel the upper back posture muscles working, taking deep breaths in. When we do upper body and lower body at the same time, heart rate will increase pretty fast. So focus on taking deep breaths in and out. And that starts getting a little too hard, just make your band longer. Squeeze. Let's just do a couple more of these. Now we're just going to slowly take the treadmill. Put your treadmill down. Put your tubing down. They say that's a sign of high intelligence when you do that. I'm not really sure. Now we're going to keep you walking here. And since we just worked up our body, let's make our interval with our lower body. So let's go and take you to that straddle position. And let's do a side-to-side lunge. So we're going to hinge towards one hip. We're going to come back to center. Let's hinge towards that other hip. Come back to center. Side-to-side lunges are one of my favorite exercises to do because they work a lot of the muscles in your legs that don't normally get a lot of attention. Walking alone, especially without any incline, it only engages like a third of your glutes, which is the biggest, strongest muscle in your body. Or so they say. I kind of think the back is, but this is going to engage more of your glutes, more of your inner thighs. One of the muscles that you normally don't work, which is what we want to strengthen. It's also going to keep your heart rate up in that aerobic zone. So we keep burning fat. We keep that heart healthy and strong. There are so many benefits to just regular exercise. There's just too many to name. Keep going. Shoulders are down. And we're just going to do just a few more of these. Going to try to stay with about a minute intervals. Let's do one more on this side. We're just gonna take you right back into just a walk. So as you're walking here, we'll do this for 1 full minute on the walk. So if you feel like you want to increase your pace just a little bit, or increase the incline, I'm gonna go take it to a 3. Just because I really want to get that heart rate up. I'm gonna pump my arms, keep my shoulders relaxed, and think about the next thing that we're gonna do. So our next exercise is gonna be a rear deltoid pull. We're gonna be holding that out in front of the body, and we're gonna be pulling the band here. I like to spend a little bit more time talking about that deltoid pull because it's something a lot of people do wrong, especially with flex bands or tubing. It's very important that you keep your wrists straight and not let them rotate up. So let's walk for about 15 seconds. Again, when you transition off of the moving part, either pause, 1 foot at a time. You're gonna straddle, and then you're gonna grab your tubing. Try not to grab your tubing and then transition at the same time because that's when accidents could happen. So let's go ahead, 1 foot at a time. Everything feels pretty comfortable. Now, if I grab my tubing and I wanna walk, I'm gonna go ahead and get in position first. Grab that tubing, let's do that practice pull to see how it feels. Hold on to your treadmill, hop back on, here we go. Now you're gonna wanna distance yourself just a little bit here, and we're just gonna take that and pull it. Now, knuckles feel like going like this. For some reason, people always just wanna aim it like this. Keep the knuckles pointing straight ahead. Keep an eye on your wrist. Chest level, rear deltoids, upper back muscles. A little bit in between those shoulder blades. Abs are strong. We're breathing out on that pull. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Let's keep it going. Pull and release. Just a couple more to go. You'll feel these pretty quick. These are just little guys. Those rear deltoids. Let's do one more big pull right here. And again, let's go ahead and take you to that straddle position. And then we'll set your tubing down. We're just gonna walk it out for a minute. All right, while we're walking it out, I'm just gonna take my arms, I'm just gonna reach them up and check it out a little bit. I'm gonna swing them up. When I throw my arms back, that's gonna stretch my shoulders. Again, if you're a little apprehensive about letting go, just hold on with one hand and just do a couple on one side. Take it through, throw it back on that other side. Walk it out for 15 more seconds. And then we're gonna do a lunge off of the side of the treadmill. If you've ever done step aerobics or worked on any type of rise platform or a bench, you do something called step ups. Using the side of your treadmill is a great way to incorporate the same muscles that you would use. So let's go ahead and just take you out to that wide straddle, and we're gonna go off to the side. Now, once we're off to the side, I'm gonna keep 1 foot in front. I'm gonna step the other foot just right down on the ground. I'm gonna position my knee right above my ankle, make sure I can hold on tight to this treadmill. And again, if you're nervous about that moving, hit pause. Here we go, guys. We're gonna stand up and step back. Now, I'm not lunging or bending with the back leg. I'm just simply pushing off my front heel to a standing position and down. The other thing I want to think about is when I do this, don't leave this hanging. Elevate that hip up just a little bit. Get a 2-for-1 special here. Elevate, hips are level. We don't want to push up and still have one of your hips hanging down. So think about like a little string on that hip, elevating that hip up, almost like you're pulling your hips towards your ribcage just a little bit. Push and lift, step back. If this starts hurting your knees, you're gonna step back and stand up. Step back and stand up. And again, you can still do that hip elevation here. That would just be the safe knee one. If I wanna make it harder, I just go a little deeper. I can hold on a little bit more to that center bar, hinge at that hip and get down real low here and really get those glutes engaged. The more you bend this knee, the more of that glute is now activated. And the higher the heart rate's gonna go. Let's do one more of these. And go ahead, step, one hand out, come back to center. Take a couple deep breaths in and out. Those will get your heart rate real good. So we're gonna walk it out here for about a minute.
We have one more set of lunges on the other side, and then we're gonna head back to our circuit. We're gonna turn our treadmill off because we're done with this part, and we'll finish the rest of the workout down on the floor. I hope you're enjoying this. Like I said, I love finding so many different ways, playing around constantly with different ideas. And if you have any good ideas, go down to my comments section where you can see where you can get a hold of me on Instagram, Facebook, or on my email. And your comments are always welcome for any ideas that you want, anything that you have special needs for that I didn't address. Let me know what those are. All right, let's take it to your startup position. We just have to do this other side. So let's get one foot out in front. If you know you're gonna do that deep lunge, reach out in front, let's go. We're doing these for a full minute. I might even pay attention this time and stay with the full minute. Anyone that takes classes from me knows it's very hard for me to tell time or count. I just kind of like to go until I'm tired, but I do try. Feeling on that lift, focusing the weight on the heel. Don't forget that hip elevation. You might find you have one side of your body that does this really good, and the other side that does not. So do the best you can, rest when you need to. Stop if it starts to hurt or create pain. And try not to use those arms to pull yourself up. Again, your brain cheats. It's going to find the easiest way to do an exercise, and when your muscle group you're working is tired, it's going to ask for help. And you might not realize it. Last one. And let's turn off that treadmill. We're going to come on down. We're going to grab our tubing section of our circuit. We're going to be doing the other side after we loop our tubing around the treadmill. Let's get in position for those back rows. So again, distance yourself. Hips are back. We're going to tuck the pelvis under, drop the shoulders, and let's start doing those reps, pulling straight back, chest tall. And again, if it feels a little too easy, just back up just a little bit. You want to feel it between the shoulder blades as you squeeze through. Look straight ahead. Breathe out. Lower yourself down if you want to challenge that lower body a little bit more. It's about 5 more of these. Now we're going to be switching into our chest press. Now we're not going to take long breaks in these transitions like we did on your first round. Do a little less verbal cue and a little bit more work. So let's go and stop right there and slowly turn around. We'll set it for that chest press. Now remember, you can have one foot back. It's going to be a little bit easier. Feet together is going to engage that core more. Let's tighten up the belly. Drop the shoulders, starting with one hand at a time. See how that tension feels. And then set yourself from there. Let's go one or both arms. You choose. Pressing straight out. Now keep an eye on those knuckles. Make sure your knuckles are pointing towards the wall. And keep your shoulders down. And if you're feeling it too much, just bring it lower if it's too much on the shoulders. And not too far back with the elbows. I have to remind you of this because it's real easy to want to go back here. So keep that tension on. Keep pressing through that chest. Core staying tight, just like a plank. Weight is still towards your heels. We're breathing that out. Let's do 5 more. We'll be turning around for that straight arm press back. Remember, you can add a squat to that one if you want to work the legs a little bit more. I'm going to stop right there. Slowly flip back around. Take a deep breath. Shake out those arms for a second. All right, setting up. The closer the easy, further the way harder. Here we go. Pressing straight back. Now if I want to add that squat, remember I need to be back here a little bit more. Otherwise I can't get that hip hinge. It's going to feel weird. So drop those hips back and squeeze. I'm going for that squat. I want to work my glutes and my hamstrings. My core is getting nice and tight. Knuckles are down to the floor and shoulders are down away from those ears. Breathing in, big exhale at the top. Dig into those heels. Feel those triceps working. Just a couple more of these to go. Next exercise.
Gonna be that sword toss. And then we'll end with bicep curls. Okay, now we need to loop our band through. Give it a little pull. Find your distance. Always do a little practice, see how that shoulder feels. Sometimes you might want to lower this down. So for the sword toss, take a second, lower to that bottom position on your treadmill. It's worth doing. You can do it on that higher position, but I like doing it here. So remember, we have the hand right here at that hip. Come up and present through, slight rotation. Again, if it's too easy, take that little step out. And hips are always kind of tucked under, knees are a little bit soft. Weights on the heels. Mostly the same rule, shoulders down away from the ears. Exhale, extend. Cross, extend. Shoulders are the first to feel it. If it gets to be a little too much, you can just bring it down a little lower, or maybe just walk it in. If you're just struggling on those last couple of reps, just try and finish them. At the same time, listen to your body. Probably gonna have a stronger arm than the other side. Just a couple more. That's plenty of those. Let's walk it in and set up for that bicep curl now. We're just gonna pull it up. So now we have both handles back in our hands again. Weights on the heels. And let's go into that bicep curl. Bringing it up and down. Tension, especially as you're returning. Yeah, if you want to challenge your weight, just keep your hips back and drop down a little bit more. You can challenge those quads again. And that just keeps the heart rate up too. The lower back is helping to stabilize this movement too. That's why we don't want to look like this. This looks like you're just sitting against a wall. Doing a wall sit. Also a good exercise. Leans towards those heels. And we are so close to being done. Last couple. Let's do one more. And walk it in. Just set that tubing down. So we have our tubing. So we're getting ready to do the abdominal section on the other side. So we're going to be doing the wood chops from low to high. So make sure your tubing is low, either standing or on your knees. So when we're doing this, do a little practice. Again, set yourself. Make sure it's just the right amount of tension. Keep your arms straight, drop the shoulders, pelvis under, and here we go. Bringing it up at that diagonal. Remember, it's okay to bring it more at shoulder level. If it hurts your shoulders, you don't have to come up super high. You want to let your head follow the movement. Be aware of arms pulling in, trying to cabbage patch it. Okay, keep your arms stiff. When you feel that tension on that band, hold it there for a second. Don't be in a rush to go really fast with these. You want to feel the core fire. And again, here's that standing option. I don't think I got to show it to you on the other side. So if it's a little bit more of a balance, but if it's a little easier on your knees, you can just go just like this. Still getting the same muscles working. A little more effective, in my opinion, for the core here. More effective for balance, standing. You can still do both. They're both great exercises. They're just gonna change the major muscles working. All right, let's bring it up. Got our opposite foot forward. Option of adding the lunge into this step forward. Elbows out in front. Feeling tension through the abdominals. Looking straight ahead. Weight on the heel. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that lunge into here because I did it on the other side. Knees stays above the ankle. I love the way these feel. It's such a smooth movement. And anytime we're taking one foot off the floor, it becomes a balance exercise. I like to pick a spot out in front of me that I just stare at. So my shoulders stay right over my hips. And I feel more balanced. Feel that heel just digging into the ground. And again, that option, just step back, feel the core. Keep that going. Let's zip it in right there. Let's release tubing down. Let's shake out those arms. Always take a minute to cool down, stretch the body out when you're done working. We're just gonna throw those arms back, slight forward bend at the hip, and just bring them front and back a few times. And then just take those hands, open up that upper back. And just reach up, slide one hand back, and just open that tricep. I like to stretch my side while I'm here, dropping that hip down. Inhaling, reach up, let's grab that other elbow and stretch that tricep. And as we release the arms back to the sides, lock them together, opening the chest and lifting, let's look up. Lowering the hands, chin down, nice stretch on that neck. And then sliding the hands right down the front of the thighs for a lower back stretch. We're just gonna round the pelvis and release. I like to show this one from the side, just so you can see how much we're rounding, actually pulling under with those glutes, and then emphasizing the lift and looking up. And this just feels good on that lower back. And then slowly bring it up through that back. And just roll those shoulders back. Have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me.